here come the Green Wave, Tulane, and Duke out of the ACC. High expectations for Duke. Tulane, an improving program. Tonight they meet college football on CBS Sports Network. It's presented by Geico. On a gorgeous night in New Orleans, we say good evening and welcome to opening night. Hi everyone, Rich Waltz along with Adam Archulette. It's great to be here. Butterflies though on the sidelines, both coaches and players.
Well, those butterflies come from all the unknowns, all the question marks that surround these two programs. And after only going against your own team for 7, 8, sometimes 9 months, you never get a chance to find out where you're at until you get to go against a different opponent.
One of the knowns about Duke, a dynamic offense. One of the unknowns, their quarterback. Thomas Sirk has played, but not a lot.
This is what we do know. We know that he's a big, athletic quarterback who's going into his 4th year in this system. So he should know the playbook and what's going on. Now, he was a situational quarterback last year, and he only had to prepare to be a situational player. It's one thing altogether different to prepare to handle that ball 60 or 70 times per game. But after talking to David Cutcliffe, one thing is for sure, he feels that his quarterback has the accuracy to let this offense function at a high level.
And he hopes that his quarterback leans on weapons. Shaq Powell, Max McCaffrey.
Shaq Powell is the centerpiece and the workhorse of this offense, as evidenced by his 29-carry, 117-yard performance against Arizona State in that Sun Bowl. And you better believe that Max McCaffrey is so consistent, he will be that security blanket for Thomas Sirk when he has to make that big pass.
Well, Tulane was really young last year, and they took their lumps with a lot of freshmen. But the good news, they're all sophomores, including their quarterback, our Vistaprint profile on a guy with a big arm, Tanner Lee.
Well, when you look at Tanner Lee, the one thing that everybody wants to talk about is those interceptions, 14 of them. And those have to come down, but you have to remember, he was young, he was a freshman last year, and he was surrounded by freshmen. The key is going to be protection. And as you see, when he gets time in the pocket, he can use that 6'4" frame and deliver his strike to his wide receivers.
The experience for Tulane, the other side of the ball. Darian Monroe, a dynamite safety, and it's always good to have a Marley as a linebacker.
Well, this is an undersized, aggressive defense, and Nico Marley personifies what Lionel Washington wants to do perfectly. 5'9", 200 pounds is the heart and soul of this defense, but the brains is their safety. Darian Monroe will line up everywhere, certainly an impact player for the Green Wave.
Curtis Johnson, the head coach for Tulane, as the Green Wave gets set to take on Duke. He's down below with our Cassie Gallo.
Well, Coach, it's the first game of the season. What did you tell your team before tonight?
Just go out and win a football game. We hadn't played in 9 months. I think it's a great Duke team. Coach Cutcliffe is outstanding. He does a great job. Just want to come out here and play well and win.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Cassie, thank you. Curtis Johnson, his 4th year. The guy that was a receivers coach and a big part of the New Orleans Saints offense for many years before he took this job. And, of course, David Cutcliffe. I don't know that there's anybody in college football that has done a better job than David Cutcliffe the past 7 years, reviving Duke from the very ashes of the sport to a relevant and really good team in the ACC. And Duke opening on the road here in the American in New Orleans. This on-campus facility in year 2. It holds 30,000, and the crowd anticipating a bounce-back year for the Green Wave. Duke will kick. One big advantage for the Blue Devils right off the bat. They are very good on the special teams. Ross Martin, one of the best kickers in the country, and he will kick it off. And this season is underway. And Tulane will start it at their own 25-yard line. Time now for the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Offensively, running backs really good, especially Sherman Beatty.
The strength of this offense is their running backs, and Sherman Beatty got off to a very fast start last year, but was slowed late in the season to an ankle injury. He is back and healthy, and watch out when he gets in the open field.
Tanner Lee, quick to the line. And the sophomore will give it to Lizendrick Thompson. Gain of 3. Duke defensively. It's a 4-2-5 look, and the skill are the safeties.
This is a very talented secondary. And 2 of the finest safeties that you're going to see in college football. Jeremy Cash is more of the linebacker. And Devon Edwards, not many out there that make more big plays than he does.
A 2nd and 6. Beatty in motion. And the give to Dontrell Hilliard. Tulane believes they can run the football between the tackles. And Hilliard close to the first down, gain of 5, 3rd down and 1.
One thing you're going to notice in this game, Eric Price, the offensive coordinator, they're going to experiment quite a bit with tempo. And after talking to Tanner Lee, he says he likes the quick pace because he has more time at the line of scrimmage. Much more responsibility this year for Tanner Lee at the quarterback spot.
Last year he was a freshman surrounded by freshmen. They're all back. Bumped off is Thompson into the backfield. Jeremy Cash, the big play free safety, makes a big one. And Tulane is going to have to punt.
Well, you see inside pressure from Jim Knowles. He knows that the Green Wave offensively want to run up inside. He brings his safety. He brings linebacker pressure. Excellent penetration from the defensive line to get in the backfield and make that play.
Peter Piccarelli into punt for Tulane with Ryan Smith standing his own 30. High snap and a short kick and a fair catch called for and made on the 37-yard line. The Duke offense so dynamic, especially in the skill spots in years past. But they've got, after missing a lot of pieces, a lost piece has come back, and that's Braxton Deaver.
It's going to be a major piece to this puzzle. Braxton Deaver, after missing last year with a torn ACL, is back. He's going to be one of the top tight ends in the country, and certainly a great weapon for Thomas Sirk.
And David Reeves played a lot last year as well. Shotgun for Sirk. Tulane shows blitz, and Duke keeps it on the ground. And straight ahead is Shaq Powell, the senior. It's a gain of only 1. Tulane's defense, skills, and veteran. Now up front, Royce LaFrance needs to get to the quarterback. Second down and 8. Sirk on the money. Caught there. TJ Romming, the freshman. And Romming to the 38-yard line. It's a pickup of 22.
Well, this is one of Thomas Sirk's strengths. And we know that he is able to get outside the pocket. And look at this terrific throw on the run. Hits the freshman, TJ Romming, coming out of his break perfectly.
At the Tulane 38, first possession for Duke. Powell again, straight ahead. Burrows inside the 35 and down to the 33-yard line. Gain of 5 for the senior out of Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas.
Yeah, one of the things offensively that Duke has to do is wear down this Tulane front. They are undersized and aggressive, and they have to use that big offensive line to lean on that smaller front and let Powell do his dirty work.
From the 33, Sirk's throw, an inside throw, and a fumble. It's loose. Tulane says they have it, and they do. John L. Barnes with a catch and then the fumble, and Tulane forces a turnover.
Well, this is a quick wide receiver screen, and it looks like Ade Aruna, the defensive end, number 87, gets his hand on that ball. John L. Barnes, lazy with the football, gets it punched out. And when you look at this defense, one thing that, especially after talking to Nico Marley and their defensive coordinator, Lionel Washington, their calling card is turnovers. They do an excellent job of getting the ball back to their offense.
Jared Franklin with the recovery for Tulane. Now Tanner Lee will hand it off. Tulane has kept it on the ground, and they'll get it out to the 43-yard line. A.J. Wolf made the stop. Sherman Beatty the carry. It's a gain of 4. So both teams have touched it. Tulane couldn't move it. Duke could. but they cough it up in Tulane territory. And we'll see when Tanner Lee cuts it loose, and it might be here. An empty backfield on 2nd down and 6. Little dump pass, and flags come from all directions at the 46-yard line. Jeremy McDuffie in coverage for Duke.
Defense, number 4. Automatic first down.
Ron Cherry, part of an ACC officiating crew here tonight in New Orleans. There's a look at Curtis Johnson, his 4th year as the head coach of the Green Wave. A bowl game 2 years ago. Last year, 3-9 and 2-6 in their initial year in the American. Quick screen, ball on the turf, and it's an incomplete pass. Let's go to New York and Brent Stover. Brent?
10-0 on the Gophers, guys.
All right, thank you, Brent. Tanner Lee, sideline pattern to Dontrell Hilliard, and it's out of his reach and incomplete. Tulane with the football, just underway. Duke has turned it over in Tulane territory. And the Green Wave looking at 3rd down and 10 from their own 47-yard line. Shotgun for Lee. Duke comes with 5. And movement before the snap.
False start, 78 offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 3 down.
Curtis Johnson and his Green Wave last year played Duke up in Durham, and some key mistakes. 5 turnovers. His young club, almost all freshmen skill on offense, did not react to it in a positive fashion.
Turnovers were a big problem for the offense last season, and boy, this second drive, they're pretty sloppy. Some passes that were off the mark from Tanner Lee.
Lee on 3rd and long. Blitz comes. Lee's in trouble, and he's caught and dropped back at the 40. Jeremy Cash and Devon Edwards both combining on the sack. And that's the second big tackle for loss on a 3rd down for this Duke defense.
Well, the one guy that you have to identify, number 16, coming off the edge, Jeremy Cash, one of the best blitzers from the secondary that you're going to find, and that's a situation right there. 3rd and 15, you're trying to get Tanner Lee to get the ball, get rid of the ball very quickly. Good job by Duke now, forcing the punt, giving the ball back to their offense.
Piccarelli for his second kick, another high snap, and a wobbler of a kick, and the fair catch made by Ryan Smith. Duke's second possession. This season is underway for Duke and Tulane. And we are scoreless. Scoreless ball game here. You see the Superdome. That was the former home for the Green Wave. Second year on-campus facility. It seats 30,000. And on a gorgeous night, the Green Wave defense rises up. Tanzel Smart captures Thomas Sert. A loss of 3 for Duke.
Well, great penetration. And when you talk about number 77, Tanzel Smart, look how he just dominates the center, Matt Scurry. That's a good football player in front of him. Just beats the cutoff block, makes the play in the backfield.
Shotgun for Sert. This is what he does well. That's what he did almost exclusively last year, Adam, was run that short yardage offense. And a flag is down on the 25-yard line.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty. We replay the down.
So Duke, as you see David Cutcliffe, what a great career, offensive coordinator at Tennessee, head coach at Ole Miss, has revived Duke from the very depths of college football. Movement and more flags. And I think it's a nice piece of irony that Cutcliffe is back here in New Orleans. He's made his mark.
False start, Offense, number 79. It's a 5-yard penalty.
He's made his mark as the tutor to the Mannings. He was the offensive coordinator for Peyton at Tennessee, the head coach for Eli. And, of course, this is Archie's hometown. This is Saints territory. Archie Manning is here to watch both David Cutcliffe and the Green Wave. Sean Wilson in the backfield along with Sirk. This is turned into 2nd and 13 for Duke. And the carry straight up the gut from Sean Wilson. No gain. And a long 3rd down coming for the Blue Devils.
Well, you got to love the activity from this defensive line of the Green Wave. We've seen 3 major plays in this ball game. The forced fumble from Ade Aruna, Tanzel Smart getting in the backfield, and Royce LaFrance with an inside stunt to stop that run.
Here's where Sirk needs to find one of those weapons. Over the middle, got his man, caught at the 40. It's John L. Barnes, the junior, and Barnes is out to the 42. It's a gain of 16 and a 1st down for Duke.
Very good timing right here in the pocket. Thomas Sirk goes through his progression, and he sees John L. Barnes clear the linebacker, breaks behind him in a perfect pass.
1st and 10. Wilson breaks loose midfield, still on his feet, and he's got a 10-yard pickup. He's right on the sticks. Sean Wilson, the sophomore out of Charlotte, he and Shaq Powell make a nice combo in the backfield.
One thing you got to do, make that extra guy miss, and you see Wilson right there. Break the tackle to safety Donnie Lewis. You got to be able to make that tackle in space and limit the yards after contact.
1st and 10, Tulane's 48. Sirk pulls it, keeps it to the 40, and he's got a 1st down. A gain of 15 to the 34-yard line. Richard Allen made the stop.
Well, this is exactly what Thomas Sirk did last year, more as a situational player when he came into the game, but certainly a dimension that you have to account for. Eric Thomas had a chance but got off the block late and missed the tackle.
This time, Wilson straight ahead, and he's got a yard. Nico Marley, the junior linebacker, made the stop. Marley, the son of Rohan, the grandson, yes, of Bob. His dad was a dynamite linebacker at the University of Miami. And a Tulane player is down at the 34-yard line. There's a look at Marley. A Dynamo last year. 82 tackles, 13.5 tackles for loss. Undersized, but certainly a great defensive player for the Green Wave. We'll step aside, scoreless in New Orleans. Cassie Gallo in New Orleans. Ade Aruna, the sophomore out of LaPorte, Indiana, big-time talent on the outside of the defensive line, is out for now. Darren Williams takes his spot. Cassie, what do you know? All right, we'll try to hook up with Cassie in a moment. 2nd down and 9 for Duke. Shotgun for Sirk. And another whistle. Procedure, and this will back the Blue Devils up 5 yards.
6-yard penalty.
Cassie Gallo, what do you have on the injury to Ade Aruna?
Well, Rich, you saw him get banged up a little bit on that last play. It took him a little bit to walk off the field, hobbled a little bit, but I'm told he just got the wind knocked out of him.
Well, good news certainly for Tulane. Duke on the move from the Green Wave 38. This is Wilson, breaks loose, Wilson to the 20, and he's all the way down to the 15-yard line. Darian Monroe made the stop. First big gain on the ground for the Blue Devils.
Boy, just a terrific cut. Right behind his fullback, right there, and again, a chance to get him down, limit the damage. Donnie Lewis missing his 2nd tackle on this series.
21 yards for Sean Wilson. And it's Wilson again. This time he's inside the 10. A gain of 7. And the Blue Devils, who turned it over their first drive in Tulane territory, moving right now and holding on to the football.
Yeah, I think it's a little interesting here that they're sticking with the ground game because Lionel Washington, the defensive coordinator, is stacking the box and bringing a lot of pressure. These wide receivers are getting a lot of one-on-one looks, and you got to believe Thomas Sirk is going to look to exploit it.
This is where Sirk was at his best last year, and he's cut, and there's Marley. Nico Marley, a loss of 4.
But it's the second time tonight that he's made a play behind the line of scrimmage. And what I like about him, what he does better than so many linebackers, and this is what you have to do when you're a little bit undersized, the way he shoots his gap. And he makes that decision, and he knifes the play so fast.
Verizon red zone. Duke last year, shotgun here on 3rd down. Cirk to throw, end zone, and it's incomplete. In the corner for John L. Barnes. And Tulane holds.
Well, good job by Richard Allen, and he's replacing Lorenzo Doss, who went to the National Football League and had 15 career interceptions. You got to believe that Richard Allen is going to be attacked early this season to see if he can hold up. Nice job right there, forcing the Blue Devil offense to kick a field goal.
32 yards. This should be a chip shot for Ross Martin. And it is. Martin, the senior, who was money last year, 19 of 21, starts the scoring in 2015, 3-0, Duke. Playing campus, 3-0, Duke on top. Blue Devils with a 32-yard field goal. Tulane about to get, this is a very historic area. Of course, Tulane Stadium, longtime home for the New Orleans Saints and for Tulane football, some Super Bowls. And Tulane moved over to the Superdome and played there until last year. And a 30,000-seat stadium right on campus, back on campus. And they hope their second year in the American, they take a step forward.
Well, that's key. They went to a bowl game 2 years ago, but that was when they were part of Conference USA, the New Orleans Bowl. And last year, difficult year in their first year in the American Conference. But C.J. Johnson really believes that they're starting to recruit, and they're just on the edge of starting to make that big jumps. And he really feels like this year they have to get back to a bowl.
There's the scoring drive. Ross Martin will kick it, and Tulane will get it for the 3rd time tonight. Beatty, 5 yards deep, and he sees Josh Rounds, who tells him to stay in the end zone. How do you get Tanner Lee started?
Well, they've tried it, and when we talked to Eric Price, the offensive coordinator, he said that he wants to give him confidence. He wants to have him make the short throws, get those early completion to get his feet under him, but that hasn't exactly worked out in his favor. You can tell the nerves are there a little bit. He has to be able to settle down, let the game come to him, and not try and force anything.
That's Eric Price, the son of Mike Price, very successful college coach, most notably at Washington State University. And Eric is the offensive coordinator, his 4th year here in Tulane. On 1st and 10, Lee with time. There's the strong arm on the money. Teddy Veal with the catch. Jeremy McDuffie with the coverage, and it's a gain of 8.
Yeah, ultra soft zone coverage right here, and virtually no pressure for Tanner Lee to have to deal with. That's the kind of pass and the drive starter that they want to see from their quarterback.
2nd and short, inside handoff. Sherman Beatty out to the 40, and that's a gain of 7. And a 1st down for the Green Wave. Dwayne Norman, the stop for Duke.
Well, you've seen Sean Wilson make the guy in the hole miss for Duke, and there you go, Beatty. If you give him a chance in space, he'll make you miss and pick up a big gain.
Hilliard, and he has maybe 3. This is the tempo that Eric Price wants to play this year with offensively. Play with tempo, a lot of no huddle, speed the game up. They didn't do a lot of that because they had virtually all freshmen in their skill spots last year.
They feel that it really simplifies the offense. Their playbook has been pared down, and it allows the players to go out there and play with their instincts.
2nd and 7, Lee short. Hilliard the catch, and he stopped immediately by Tinashe Bear, the redshirt freshman whom the Duke coaches are very high on. It's a gain of 3.
Yeah, 4 linebackers for Duke are going to play in this game, and they have to replace 2 big ones. David Helton, who was such a good tackler in the ACC, is gone, and Kelby Brown has suffered his second ACL injury in the last 2 seasons. So a lot of inexperience at that linebacker spot.
Blitz coming, everybody coming, and it's broken up, deflected. Nicely done there. Breon Borders, the junior corner, came up and made the play.
Well, double safety blitz, and that tells you that your corners are going to be on an island, man-to-man coverage. That's one of the hardest things for a corner to try and cover, that shallow cross running away from them. But great closing speed right there. Tanner Lee stays in the pocket. They should have converted that.
So Tulane stalls right around midfield. Ryan Smith deep. A better snap for Picarelli. And a Tulane bounce inside the 20. And it comes to rest at Duke's 16-yard line. Out of the ACC, Duke on the road at Tulane and up 3-0. Duke with a 3-0 lead. Thomas Sirk, a junior, watched Anthony Boone take Duke to incredible heights the last 2 years. What do you see in his first quarter as the leader of this offense?
Well, you see a lot of what he did last year, utilizing the quarterback run game. But the 2 times that they've asked him to drop back and throw the ball, one was on a rollout, hits a perfect strike to his wide receiver, and another one on a key third down, hit John L. Barnes on a nice little in cut. And so 2 good, accurate passes down the field for Thomas Sirk.
He's in pretty good hands, isn't he, with David Cutcliffe as his head coach?
You think? You think he knows anything about coaching up quarterbacks?
He is one of the preeminent quarterback coaches in the country at any level. Duke from their 16. Flags are down. Good job by Powell to shed off the initial hit and somehow get 4 yards out of it. Marley was through. Zach Harris in there as well.
Offside, 99, defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, this offensive line has been one of the big parts of this offensive success here for Duke in the last 2 seasons. They've done such a good job of protecting their quarterback and really limiting the plays in the backfield. But you've seen this defensive front and the linebackers get a lot of penetration early in this game, something that I'm sure Coach Cutcliffe is not too happy about.
Crossing pattern, Barnes has got a first down. It's a gain of 6 out to the 27-yard line. Jonell Barnes, the junior, as the Duke Blue Devils try to replace Jamison Crowder, as if you can do that.
That's a huge question mark. Max McCaffrey is the most consistent wide receiver.
Again, it's Barnes. He's been the feature receiver. Put the ball down, and it bounces off, but it hit the ground. And as we know, it can't cause a fumble, the ground. So to the 33-yard line. Gain of 6. And it brings up a second down and 4. .32-yard field goal for Duke, the only score. Sirk rolling to the sidelines, and that's through the arms of Max McCaffrey, the senior, probably the most dependable and the most known product on the outside for Duke.
Well, he has been the most consistent player in camp, and they really felt like coming in this game he'd be a great security blanket for Thomas Sirk, but that was an excellent break on the ball right there to break up that pass.
Third down 4. Duke at their own 33. Sirk, short pass. This time it's T.J. Rahming, who's got a first down out to the 44-yard line. Gain of 11. Donnie Lewis Jr. made the stop.
This is a pretty easy play. This is a pick route where they rub the corner, Richard Allen, off of T.J. Rahming, and he was wide open in the middle of the field. Sirk easily puts it in front of him, and they pick up the first down.
Sirk will keep it close to midfield. The Blue Devils have not stretched the field vertically, but they have laterally, and that's where their yardage has come. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Blue Devils on the move. Powell. Marley in the middle there, along with Ade Aruna, who's back in. Gain of a couple. Third down and a long 3.
Well, you saw in the last third and short crossing routes, pick routes, trying to get their playmakers the ball in the open field and make plays in space. Here's an empty formation. Look for something to happen inside the hashes and trying to isolate on a linebacker.
Third and 3. Sir flushed to the sidelines, and he'll flip it out of bounds. And the Tulane defense holds again at midfield. Pressure from Ade Aruna.
It's exactly what they needed. Ade Aruna coming off of that left end spot, an inside stunt. And you see the coverage was good downfield. He misses the sack, but he flushes Cirque out of the pocket. And you see that nice closing speed right there from Nico Marley to force the Blue Devils to punt. Nice defensive series for the Green Wave defense.
Will Monday, a high punt. Darian Monroe lets it go, and it takes a Duke bounce. It's captured right around the 4-yard line, and so the Green Wave will have to start this right up against the end zone. See Jeremy Cash, the senior, the leader of the defense. Boy, the safeties that Duke has are really dynamite. Devon Edwards, Jeremy Cash, even DeAndre Singleton. They're all playmakers.
They are talented, and you see Jeremy Cash and you talk to him. He plays more like a linebacker, and I think that's the kind of the way he prefers it. They play him up there in the box. He had 10 tackles for a loss last year, 5 sacks, 110 tackles. And then watch out Devon Edwards. When he gets the ball in his hands, not many more exciting playmakers that you're going to find in college football.
Tanner Lee to Lezedrick Thompson. Jeremy Cash, very good on the field and very good in the classroom. This week's 76 Scholar Athlete of the Week is Cash, the Loft Impact Trophy candidate. He already has a degree from Duke and has started all 28 games in his Duke career. And he was an Ohio State Buckeye until Jim Tressel was ousted as the head coach. He wanted to go elsewhere. Jim Tressel said, you should go play for David Cutcliffe at Duke. He didn't even call Duke or look at Duke. He said, all right, I'm going. He got on the bus, and he went to Durham and said, I'm here, and let's go. Lezedrick Thompson with the carry, and he's out to the 9-yard line.
Now, he had a chance, and, he was thinking about possibly leaving early and going to the National Football League. But he decided to come back, and when we talked to him, he said, well, what was part of that decision? He said, not very often you get a chance to go to Duke and get 2 degrees paid for in full, and that's why he came back to value his education.
First quarter coming to an end in New Orleans. Duke has a field goal. Tulane with the football. On a gorgeous night in New Orleans, college football on CBS Sports Network is presented by Geico and NFL Network. And someone who's certainly interested in that ball game and didn't have far to drive to come to this ball game is with our Cassie Gallo. Cassie?
Yes, we are here with the one and only Archie Manning, which I'm surprised that we were able to break him away for a couple seconds because he has a lot of fans here, a lot of fans including Coach Cutcliffe. You guys have been buddies for nearly 2 decades. So how would you describe your relationship with each other?
Well, Cut's a great friend. He's meant a lot to our family. Certainly, he was Peyton's offensive coordinator at Tennessee, and he was more than that. Peyton was kind of a long way from home and young, and they just became great friends and still are. And then, of course, he was Eli's head coach at Ole Miss. I'm not sure Eli would have gone to Ole Miss if Cut hadn't have gone there as the head coach. So he's meant a lot to our family. He's a great, he's an outstanding football coach. His evidence in winning 19 games the last 2 years at Duke. But he's a great, great person. Everybody in that whole fraternity of coaching, players and fans, people love Cut. Great guy.
Now, you've seen Tulane and the city of New Orleans grow so much. What does this football program mean to the city?
Well, it means a lot. Tulane, our city we got our socks knocked off. And, boy, Tulane suffered. And, we had a great leader here in Scott Cowens, the former president of Tulane, what he did to save the school. And now with this this new stadium, Tulane, I think Curtis is building the program. Their program needs to come back, and they need to have a better program, win more football games. I think they can do it. I certainly think Curtis can do it and get the people of New Orleans. Obviously, New Orleans people love the Saints, but they need to get back loving Tulane also.
All right, Mr. Manning, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Cassie.
Rich.
All right, thank you. A 52-yard punt, and Ryan Smith with the return. It looked like he was down, but he rolled over a tackler, and we'll see on the replay if he touched the ground.
Well, that was a heck of a run. We're going to see right here. Did that knee touch the ground? It's tough. I think he might have landed on one of the Green Wave players, but we're going to have to get a little bit better of an angle right there. We can't quite see it there.
Now, Tulane can challenge. You get one challenge a game in college. And the coaches up top got a look at it. Curtis Johnson, I believe, has challenged.
The previous play is under review. The ruling on the field is that the runner was not down.
It's a difference of about 20-25 yards. They'll take a look at it. We'll step aside. 3-0 Duke on top. Still in New Orleans. The first look we saw from the low end zone, it almost looked like the backside of Smith hit the ground as he rolled over the tackler.
Well, it's a matter of literally 1 inch. And it's, if he didn't hit the ground right there, I think he's about an inch off of the ground.
Now, the evidence has to be clear and concise to overturn it.
I think it's pretty clear that he didn't touch the ground. I mean, certainly his rear end didn't touch the ground. Now the question is, did another part of his body touch the ground? But I think as you look at this from this angle, you see a little bit of space, about an inch. And I've got to believe that this call is going to stand. He was not down.
Replay officials have all of these views and certainly can stop and start and slow them down and blow them up as they would like. For the junior Ryan Smith, an acrobatic return. If the call stands, Duke has it at the Tulane 39.
Well, that was, Duke has excellent special teams. One of the question marks was who was going to win that punt return job. They had such a dynamic returner last year in Jamison Crowder. And a number of guys were going to be able to get that job. Max McCaffrey was one of those guys, but they felt like Smith.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
They felt like Smith had that game-breaking potential that they were used to seeing. You see, pretty athletic move right there to stay up and get into Green Wave territory.
So the call stands, and Duke has great field position at Tulane's 39. It was a review and not a challenge. So Tulane still has their challenge. That was initiated by the official upstairs at the last second. Sean Wilson straight ahead to the 38-yard line. This defensive front of Tulane has played well tonight.
They really have. And remember, Duke has to replace two big-time offensive linemen. Jacoby Cofield, an all-ACC left tackle, and, of course, Lakin Tomlinson, who was the 28th pick of the Detroit Lions at right guard. And so far, this offensive line that has been so steady looks a little bit unsettled.
That has to feel good for Braxton Deaver to catch that pass. Deaver had a big year in 2013, 46 balls, 4 touchdowns. His third knee surgery wiped out last year. He's back for his 6th season.
Well, terrific touch pass, first of all, for Cirk to get the ball into that big frame of Braxton Deaver. And that's a guy you have to figure is going to play a big role in this offense tonight and the rest of the season.
Sean Wilson with the carry down to the 24. Duke on the move and on top in New Orleans. Let's go to New York. Brent Stover.
Rich, Adam, and Cassie.
Thank you, Brent. Duke on the move. 2nd down and 10. Thomas Sirk rolling right. Devers in front of him, and Sirk will keep it. To the sideline he goes, and he's out of bounds at the 18-yard line. 6-yard pickup. Jared Franklin, the sophomore, made the stop.
Well, they were trying to get Braxton Deaver to come behind the line of scrimmage. You see him, number 89. But initially, Tulane doing a good job playing defense. And then you see Deaver with the awareness to turn into a lead blocker. And Thomas Sirk wisely follows him for a big gain.
3rd down 4 from the Tulane 16. It's Wilson. And Wilson is inside the 15. He's close to the first down. Let's see where they mark it. And I think he's going to be short about a half a yard. He is. 4th down and short. And Duke will go for it. Remember, Sirk was the short yardage quarterback last year. And he'll keep it straight ahead, and he's in to inside the 5, down to the 2, with a 1st and goal now for Duke. Thomas Sirk leaving his feet and getting to the 2.
Well, double lead. Braxton Deaver and Shaquille Powell go up inside, and boy, there's nobody to tackle Thomas Sirk until he gets into the secondary. That's a tough play to try and stop in a short yardage situation.
Parker Bain is in the ball game.
There's Thomas Sirk split out wide at the bottom of the screen.
Bain takes the snap and then gets hit right at the 2. Bain, the sophomore backup quarterback out of Jacksonville Beach, Florida. This is kind of the role that Sirk had last year with Anthony Boone as the every down quarterback.
I still think it's a little interesting. I know that Coach Cutcliffe likes to do this with his backup quarterback, but boy, Thomas Sirk is so good in these situations. I'm not sure why he'd want to split him out and waste him.
Bain will throw back in the end zone, and it's incomplete. He overshot Deaver.
Well, he had a shot initially. You can see Deaver just slightly got behind Darian Monroe before Monroe was able to recognize it. The ball just up a little bit too high. You bring that down about 6 inches, and that's a touchdown.
And that jump pass was Sirk's specialty last year. He hit on some big ones, including the game winner against Virginia.
You know, Rich, I just think maybe you kind of wasted 2 plays there. I think Thomas Sirk, especially in the first game of the season, has to be the guy down in the red zone.
Inside shovel, inside the end zone is Shaq Powell. The senior on a little shovel from Sirk. And Duke, from 3 yards out, is in the end zone for the first time tonight.
Well, good play call by Scotty Montgomery, and you're going to see Powell follow his left guard, Lucas Patrick, who was able to seal right there on the edge of Robert Kennedy, and Duke is able to get in the end zone. But good job of moving the ball down the field, being set up by that nice punt return.
Martin adds the point. Thomas Sirk, his first start. The new Duke quarterback has the Blue Devils up 10-0 on the road at Tulane. $10-0 Duke, the touchdown on 3rd and goal.
Well, this was a very nicely designed play, and you see the running ability of Sirk is going to influence this defensive end right here. And after that happens, you're going to watch Powell come from behind and get the shovel pass. This is nicely executed. You see everybody is blocking. A nice job by Lucas Patrick to seal the edge. And that's an easy touchdown for Shaquille Powell.
And remember, it was all set up by that acrobatic punt return by Ryan Smith, which was reviewed, and the review went Duke's way. So Duke has been able to get Thomas Sirk into the flow of the offense and into the end zone, but Tulane has not been able to get their guy Tanner Lee going.
No, it's imperative that something good happens here for Tulane. They need an extended drive right here. They cannot afford to go 3 and out, and you have to see if your quarterback, Tanner Lee, can get the ball to his wide receivers down the field accurately.
This is Beatty, a big play guy on the returns, and he's crunched at the 18-yard line. Well, if you were Eric Price, how would you get Tanner Lee going?
Well, I think one thing that you have to do, you have to have the Duke defense prove to you that their inexperienced linebackers are up to the task. So I would attack their front seven. You have a great stable of running backs that you like to split out in the passing game. I would try and isolate your running backs and tight ends inside on the linebackers and make those young guys prove that they're up to covering those receivers in space.
Dontrell Hilliard, Rob Kelly are in the backfield. Lee has a big arm, and he's a pro-style quarterback, but he has not gone down the field yet. Quick screen, Hilliard escapes to the 21-yard line. It's a gain of 3.
And you see, Eric Price, again, going back to these short passes, these screen passes, trying to get these drive starters going. But, you've got to be able to gain more than 2 yards on first down if you want to move the ball consistently.
Now Lee, Hilliard again out of the backfield. Makes a man miss, has a lane to the 35. And Tulane finally has a nice play that pops them out to the 36, 16 yards. Tanner Lee, Dontrell Hilliard.
Perfectly done by Lee. He recognizes a double blitz coming off of his left side. And then he gets the ball out to a big playmaker in space, and he makes the cornerback miss for a big gain.
This time Rob Kelly, the senior out of New Orleans, back to the line of scrimmage. That's a 2nd down and 10.
Rich, that's one thing that they're looking more for from Tanner Lee. That's his pre-snap recognition of what's happening. He has more responsibility this year at the line of scrimmage, and that was a good job of understanding where the blitz was coming to and getting the ball to the appropriate player.
2nd and 10. Slides up in the pocket and threads the needle to the 48-yard line. Teddy Veal made the catch. Eric Price's offense is moving now.
That's exactly what he wants. You see, very clean pocket, and that allows Tanner Lee to step up, put his body behind it, and get the ball to Veal. That was a small window that he fit the ball in.
Lee, not real mobile, slips and falls forward to the 43-yard line. He's going to lose 5 on the play.
I got to say, Rich, that's a little bit confusing because that's not Tanner Lee's skill set. And keeping the ball on a zone read, I'm not sure if that's going to be a successful way for this offense to move the ball. They were doing a wonderful job in their quick screens and throwing the ball down the field. You've got to be able to stick with that.
2nd and 5. Lee, pocket. Oh, he's got a man. Leaping catch. Teddy Veal at the Duke 35-yard line. And Tanner Lee is warming up.
Well, by far, Teddy Veal is their best, most consistent playmaker. And right now in this game, he has been the primary target of Tanner Lee. Duke's secondary has not been able to cover him in one-on-one situations. I would continue to feed Teddy Veal until this secondary proves that they can cover him.
On 1st and 10 from the Duke 35. Blitz coming. Lee got rid of it. Caught there. Veal a crossing pattern. And he's got 2 yards.
A big priority for Curtis Johnson and Eric Price was protecting Tanner Lee. He got hit way too much last season and took too much abuse. Some of that was because of his offensive line, and other parts was not getting the ball out quickly. Another good job of recognizing pressure and getting the ball out.
Another blitz. Lee still has it, and he fires it out of bounds. He'll take the incompletion and live to see 3rd down and 8.
This was supposed to be a screen, and he's trying to get the ball to Sherman Beatty, but it looks like he was held up inside, and Tanner Lee wisely sees that there's no wide receiver and gets rid of the football, gives his offense another chance to try and convert in 3rd and 8.
You see Lee on this drive. This is the best effort offensively from still a young Tulane offense. They were freshmen, surrounded by more freshmen last year. They're all sophomores. They're all back. Lee, Veal, Unkelad, Jones, Beatty, Hilliard, all sophomores. For Curtis Johnson, faced with 3rd down and 8. Duke has blitzed a lot And here comes another one. Quick inside, caught, Onkalad. It was a juggling catch, and he's at the 27-yard line, shy of the first down by 2 yards.
Another example of Tanner Lee recognizing pressure. And Onkalad is able to get the inside leverage on Jared McDuffie and have the concentration to stick with this pass.
Tulane does not have a lot of confidence in their kicking game. And from the Duke 27 on 4th and 2 with no one in the backfield, Tulane will go for it, but a timeout. Curtis Johnson wants to talk it over. Well, the young quarterback is in rhythm right now.
This is what I liked about this drive so far. They had a couple quick screens, and you saw Sherman Beatty made a guy miss out there in the flat, but he threw the ball down the field. And sometimes I think we say that we want to give quarterback confidence, and we want them to have short passes, but I tell you what, there's nothing that gets somebody more confident than when he rips the ball down the field for a big completion. This series right here, this drive, should be a great confidence booster for Tanner Lee.
For this first down.
Well, they're in an empty formation right now, so you know it's not going to be a run game. I would still try and isolate one of these linebackers on my back split out.
4th and 2, blitz comes, short pass. It was tipped, I believe, at the line, and it went over the head of Teddy Veal, and Duke holds. Timeout in New Orleans. David Cutcliffe and the Blue Devils on the road and on top. 10-0. Ice, offensive coordinator, talking with his young quarterback, Tanner Lee. You can see the yardage. Duke, a decided advantage. The Blue Devils with some untested people in skill spots, most notably their quarterback, Thomas Sirk. And so far, he's passed the test. From his own 26. Now a blitz from Tulane. Sirk steps up, airs it out for the first time, and he overshoots his receiver, John L. Barnes. Richard Allen on the coverage.
Good job by Richard Allen, but this is one of those situations he almost gets an interception. They have a pretty special cornerback on the other side in Perry Nickerson, who was a freshman All-American, had 6 interceptions last year because he got tested early, and that's the kind of play that Richard Allen needs to make. Sirk trying to attack him against a blitz situation. He comes up with the pass breakup.
Powell in motion, and he gets the screen to the 30, and he dances out to the 33-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 4. 6 yards on the pickup. Duke went 34 yards for a touchdown with their last drive. Sirk has been efficient, not spectacular. 9 of 13, 77 yards, and that shovel pass went for a touchdown. Airs that one out. Boy, a dart. Rahming made the catch. Ball's loose. It's picked up by Tulane. There's no whistle. Marley has it at the 45-yard line. T.J. Rahming made the catch. The officials will huddle now, and this certainly will be looked at.
The question is, did he have full possession before the ball came out? Was he able to make a football move? And it looked like he did establish himself as a runner. Now the next piece of this is the ball coming out before his knee touched the ground is the part that we have to investigate.
Well, the officials, without even going to replay, have given it to Duke. There was no whistle. They let the play finish.
So in my eyes, he clearly established himself as a runner.
Which means a catch.
Which means a catch, but I'm not convinced that the ball came loose before his knee or any part of his body hit the ground.
So the ball is sitting at midfield. Ron Cherry, the referee, looking at the Tulane sidelines. Remember, Tulane still has their challenge left, but I don't know if you want to use it on a play like this. It's not clear and concise.
Well, it's tough because it could potentially be a turnover. So
the previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is that we have a catch and the runner down. Timeout.
Now, he did not indicate any kind of challenge, so this sounds like it's been initiated by the officiating crew and the replay official up in the booth.
Well, it's certainly worth a look because, potentially this could be a turnover in your favor. And depending on what camera angle that Curtis Johnson has.
There's the catch. It's under review. We'll step away and be right back. David Cutcliffe and Duke 2 for 2 in replay reviews. This is a catch and a completion, not a fumble.
Yeah, this is close, but I think the ball starts to come out when his left elbow and forearm hit the ground. So therefore, it was a catch and down. It's going to be Duke's ball.
It's a 17-yard completion. TJ Rahming, the freshman, and so far Thomas Sirk has lived up to one of the things David Cutcliffe said to us. He may not be tested in running the whole offense, but he's extremely accurate from the pocket.
That's the one big question mark that they want to see. He's going to be able to run the ball, but is the accuracy down the field going to be there? And one thing that he's done tonight, he's done everything that his coaches have asked him to do.
On the other side, if you're Curtis Johnson, his offense finally showed that they could move the football without any points last drive. He needs a stop from his defense.
Well, it was critical. When you get down there by the 25, 24-yard line, you've got to be able to come away with points, and being forced to go for it on 4th and short because you have no confidence in your field goal kicker. Now you got 0 points.
Sirk on the handoff, and straight ahead is Powell. The senior takes it inside Tulane territory to the 45-yard line, and it's 2nd down and 5. The Blue Devils out of the ACC last year, 5-3 in conference, 9-4. They lost to Arizona State in a tight one in the Sun Bowl. Sirk in trouble, escapes, and he's back for a 1-yard pickup to the 44-yard line. Eric Thomas and Ade Arunya made the stop.
More penetration. Royce LaFrance, the defensive end, is able to split the guard and tackle and get to Sirk before he's able to make a move. That's one good thing that this defense has been able to do, is get penetration into that Blue Devil backfield.
3rd down and 3. Sirk to throw, sideline, and it's incomplete. Good pressure up the middle. Eric Thomas, the junior linebacker, got to Sirk.
Well, good job of pressuring Thomas Sirk. And that ball was just a little bit high, even a little too high for a guy like Max McCaffrey to come down with. And a good job by that defense to make a stand, force the Blue Devils to punt. And now your offense has a chance with 5 minutes left to go before the half to try and come away with some points.
Will Monday trying to pin Tulane. Monroe, a fair catch. A lot of things have gone right for this young Tulane team, except scoring. They're down 10-0 to Duke. Well, Tulane moved the football from deep in their own territory all the way down to Duke's 25-yard line, but they got no points out of that last drive. Tanner Lee, the sophomore quarterback, now backed up to his own 5 on the shotgun snap. And a quick pop to Teddy Veal to the 15. Veal caught. Flag goes down, and it looked like a face mask. Devon Edwards on the tackle for Duke.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 21, 15 yards, automatic, first down.
Well, that's Alonzo Saxton, the corner, who's in for Brian Fields, who was injured his ACL last Thursday. And you can see he gets that face mask and yanks it around violently. A little bit of breathing room right here for Lee in this offense.
On 1st and 10, just outside the 30. Lee, protection this time, and a bullet to Taron Onkalad, who breaks the tackle, and Onkalad across midfield to the 49-yard line of Duke. 20 yards on the catch.
Well, soft coverage outside by Saxton again. Filling in for Brian Fields. A nice move to break that tackle and get upfield. That's a matchup that I think Tanner Lee is going to have to go back to.
Lee on the handoff. This is Thompson, who ran for 124 yards at Duke last year. Duke won that ball game in a runaway. Tanner Lee threw 3 interceptions, and Tulane turned it over 5 times. They've taken care of the football tonight. They just haven't been able to get to the end zone.
Well, the key is now is they have to start winning the critical downs to take the next step as an offense.
Lee to the sideline, and he slides right at the 45-yard line. This will be a critical down now. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 7.
Well, they've been 0 for 5 so far today on 3rd downs. And that's a big reason why they've stalled and a big reason why they didn't come away with points in their last drive. Now, 3rd down and 7 is a long down and distance to try and convert, but Tanner Lee has been on point in his downfield passing.
Blitz coming, Lee with time, into a crowd and incomplete. No flags, and Duke's defense holds just past midfield.
Blitz pressure again. This is a zone drop, and you're going to see the defensive end, number 48, in coverage. Dion Williams did get a little bit of jersey right there, but evidently not seen.
Ryan Smith's punt return set up Duke's only touchdown of the ball game, and he's standing at his own 11. Flags down, and it looked like Tulane moved.
False start, 97 offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
It's one of the things both coaches talked about. Without a real scrimmage or exhibition game or preseason game, ironing out the penalties is not easy.
It's hard. It's hard when you don't get a practice, or when you don't get to actually play before your first game. No preseason like the National Football League, and so that's what these games are for, to try and iron things out.
Smith caught it at his 5, and it's a gamble, and he gets back to the 9. 47 yards on the punt by Peter Pickers. And highlights from opening night in college football, including this one. Thomas Sirk going deep, right sideline, and it's deflected and knocked out of the hands of T.J. Rahming. Donnie Lewis Jr., the redshirt freshman, on the coverage.
Well, terrific job by Donnie Lewis playing center field. You know, Sirk's trying to take advantage of one-on-one coverage, going at their best corner, Perry Nickerson, and he was beat off of the line, but that ball was underthrown and allowed Lewis to come over and break up that pass.
Duke has taken a couple of shots deep. Sirk has been accurate. And 2nd and 10. Again, this one deep. McCaffrey in a crowd. And it's broken up, incomplete. Richard Allen, the junior corner, on the coverage.
It looked like Allen may have raked the left arm of Max McCaffrey just before that ball got in there. It was very close, a very small window to fit that ball in. But again, Tulane defense, their secondary taking care of the downfield passing game.
David Cutcliffe's offense faced with 3rd down and 10 from their own 9-yard line. Sirk, swing pass. Caught there. This is Wilson to the 15, and he's dropped on a nice open field stop. That was Darian Monroe, the senior safety.
Well, just a perfect drive by the Green Wave defense, and they were trying to take advantage of their aggressive nature by going downfield. But again, the secondary, Darian Monroe with the closing speed, coming up, making the tackle before the 1st down marker, and forcing the Blue Devils to punt.
Will Monday's got a big foot. Teddy Veal is deep. And a deep kick. Veal backing up at his 35. Veal with a flag down. Another flag down. Veal at the 38. A 3rd flag behind the play. A 4th flag back at the 16-yard line. So take your pick. This may take a while to sort out.
Well, I think the original was a block in the back by Stephon Lofton, the backup cornerback. But I'm not quite sure what the other flags are going to be for.
This is where it's nice to have an extra official, in which college football now you have the option, each conference does, of adding another official.
More officials? Rich?
Come on. Come on, Arch.
As if the game isn't over-officiated to begin with.
Spoken like a true linebacker, strong safety.
You see right there at the very end, or right where Veal tries to make his cut, was the block in the back by Stephon Lofton.
We have multiple fouls on the play. We have offside defense. We have a block in the back against the defense, or against the return team. That is to be declined. The penalty for offsides will be enforced. The result of the penalty is 5 yards and will result in a first down.
Wow. Out of all of those penalties, the one that counts is the offside, and it gives Duke the ball back.
You know, that's just one that you can't have. It didn't look like anybody jumped. So the question is, somebody had to be lined up in the neutral zone. And if that's the case, that's just a lazy error. They didn't give us a number of who that was, but that's just somebody in that neutral zone. Now, instead of a chance to go on a 2-minute drive and get some points here with pretty good field position, you give Thomas Sirk and the Blue Devil offense one more chance to put points on the board before halftime.
Duke has all 3 of their timeouts. Tulane has 2 of them left. 2.5 minutes left first half. And the Duke offense gets it back, their own 20. Inside screen, Rahman gets a block and then is clobbered by Darian Monroe. And the strong safety with a strong hit.
That's a terrific tackle in space by Darian Monroe. That's exactly the way you draw it up. Put that helmet right in the ball carrier's chest.
Another quick pop. Rahman has the first down. He's out to the 38-yard line. So far, T.J. Rahman, kind of an unknown, a freshman wide receiver, has been hard to cover.
Well, you can see why he's been able to make his way into the lineup as a true freshman. And a big part of that was his ability to make tough catches. And again, they're looking for playmakers in space, and you can see he gives that offense that dimension.
Again, Rahman, his 6th catch to the 43, and he slides there. 1.5 minutes left. Duke isn't thinking about running clock. Duke is thinking about getting into the end zone again.
The last thing you can do right here if you're Tulane is give up the big play, the cheap play. Duke has to be able to earn this by going down the field.
Sirk across the 45. It'll bring up 3rd down. As the clock approaches 1 minute left, first half, the Blue Devils have not been spectacular offensively, but they've been efficient. Nico Marley the stop on 3rd down and 3. Shotgun for Sirk. Down the field he goes, and he's got his tight end. Or actually, it's McCaffrey who makes the catch to the 41-yard line. First down, it stops the clock, gain of 14. Ross Martin has a big leg. And you see his range, a career-long 53. So the target line is the 33-yard line. Sirk, early contact and no flag, now a late flag. It comes from the near sideline, a long ways from the play. And it draws the ire of Tulane's head coach, Curtis Johnson.
Well, this is going to be close. They're trying to say that Perry Nickerson made contact the ball before the ball was able to get there.
Pass interference. Defense, 17. Automatic, first down.
Boy, I got to tell you, that's calling it pretty fine right there, Rich. I don't know how you can see that from the other side of the field.
Yeah, the officials around the play did not flag it. Duke still moving, and they have all 3 of their timeouts. 40 seconds left. Sirk, flag down. Sirk escapes. Throws to the sideline. It's caught there. And Smith gets into the end zone, but a flag sits at the 35-yard line. Ryan Smith, the catch, 29 yards, and it's coming back.
That's going to be a hold on Game Bradner.
Holding, 76, offense, 10 yards. We'll replay the down.
Here you go, left tackle with Ade Aruna on the speed rush. Aruna, nice move getting around him, but you see Brandner hold him just a little bit.
Well, it wipes out the touchdown, and it pushes Duke back out of field goal position. On first down, swing pass, it's Wilson. Picks his way back through the 30 and to the 28-yard line, back within field goal range, and a timeout from Duke, their first, with 21 seconds left.
That is the first choice timeout.
Boy, Sean Wilson exciting to watch in open field. Right now, this Tulane defense is reeling. So if you're Duke, if you're David Cutcliffe, Scotty Montgomery, the offensive coordinator, you have to attack. Because this drive right here, after the offsides penalty, giving the Blue Devils the ball, the defense hasn't really shown up. So you have to attack right now and try and get 6 points.
And that's the hard part for this defense, Adam. They held Duke. They held them 3 and out inside the 10. But you're right, offsides on the punt.
It's just
David Cutcliffe's offense gets new life, and they're moving it.
That's just a silly mistake. Just a silly mistake. Right now, you have a chance. Those are the things. When you're trying to turn the corner as a program, you know, sometimes you're going to get beat physically, but to make a mistake like lining up in the neutral zone when you give your team a chance to get points before halftime is just something that you can't have.
This is Thomas Sirk's first 2-minute drill, and so far, he's passing the test. He had 1 touchdown called back. Second down from the 28. Sirk, a strong arm throw on the money. John L. Barnes at the 15. Clock stops with the first down. 14 seconds left. And I think Duke will call a timeout just so they don't lose any time.
Timeout. Timeout on the field. Duke, second choice timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Well, 14 seconds left. You still got a chance to throw the ball in the end zone, try and get a touchdown, because you can easily call a timeout and get off the field goal attempt. So the entire playbook right now is at your disposal.
And this junior quarterback, who was a short yardage specialist last year, this year gets to run the show. And David Cutcliffe has to be pretty happy with what he sees in this first half.
And they haven't asked him to do too much, but he's responded by executing what they have asked him to do. And that was the major thing that David Cutcliffe wanted to see from his quarterback, is could he calm down? Could he just simply execute the offense that they put around him? And he's been able to do that.
And remember, he has the 1 touchdown. That was a shovel pass. A touchdown pass on this drive was called back because of penalty. Empty backfield, 1st and 10. 14 seconds left, first half, inside throw. Caught there, McCaffrey to the 8. The clock is down to 5. Duke has not called a timeout. Now they will. So the entire playbook was open, but Duke unable to stop the clock soon enough for another snap. They'll settle for a shot at 3.
Yeah, well, they got closer for their kicker. I thought that Sirk might have had a chance to go to the end zone. They ran a bit of a high-low combination right there. He chose to get the ball to the underneath route. Makes it a much easier kick for their outstanding kicker, Ross Martin.
An offsides by Tulane's punt return team has allowed Duke to march down the field in the final moments of this first half. And Ross Martin, who hit from 32, one of the best kickers in Duke football history, 53 made field goals. This from 25 at a bit of an angle. The punter, Will Monday, is the holder. And it's perfect. And that is the first half. Thomas Sirk, his first shot at running the show. David Cutcliffe and the Blue Devils will take a 13-0 lead in at halftime here in New Orleans. The opener, Duke from the ACC on the road in the American against Tulane. David Cutcliffe down below with Cassie Gallo.
Well, Coach, you told us yesterday you can tell if a quarterback is comfortable by his accuracy. What do you like from Thomas Sirk so far?
I thought he's been great. His poise has been outstanding. He's getting a lot of pressure looks, a lot of man-to-man. We need to help him a little bit more. If we can do that, he's going to light it up the second half.
And defensively, how have you been able to limit their run game?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, we've said it, we feel like we're better up front than what we've been, more athletic. Coach Knowles has done a good job of mixing things up with pressure. And this quarterback's dangerous. Tulane's a really good football team. It'll be an interesting second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cassie. A lot of Duke fans have made the trip. And a 13-0 halftime lead for the Blue Devils in New Orleans against Tulane. Verizon Halftime Report is coming up here on CBS Sports Network. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network. It's presented by Geico. 13-0 Duke at the half. Duke, a 13-0 halftime lead over Tulane. Our Quickens Loans first half stats. Rich Waltz, Adam Archuleta. What numbers jump off the page to you?
Well, I think Duke has great balance to their offense so far, but I got to say, this kind of surprises me. Only 21 rushing yards. Remember last year in this game against Duke, they had 231 rushing yards, and this is one of the worst rushing defenses in the ACC. I feel like you have to make that defense prove to you that they can stop the run.
Cassie Gallo down below with Tulane head coach Curtis Johnson.
Yeah, Rich, just talked to an optimistic Coach Johnson coming out of the half. He said he's pleased with the way Tanner Lee is staying calm out there. He also likes the tempo that they're playing at right now, even though the offense is feeling a lot of pressure from Duke. He also said they need to clean up their mistakes. To do that, they need to simplify, Rich.
All right, thank you, Cassie. Geico difference makers in this ballgame. First start, first half for Thomas Sirk.
Big question. Can he pass the ball? Is he accurate? I think he's had some pretty good passes in this game, a lot of variety of passes, some down the field, some short passes, but he's executed this offense, I think, the way Coach Cutcliffe has wanted to see from his quarterback. And for Tulane, they started to move the ball a little bit, and one guy who was able to consistently get open was Teddy Veal at wide receivers. I think that's a matchup against Alonzo Saxton that they still have to try and exploit if you're Tulane.
So Duke will get the football to start this second half. Geico presenting college football on CBS Sports Network. Our first night, a thrilling win by Florida International. Ron Turner and FIU goes into Central Florida and beats UCF. And here, after one half, Duke on the road on top of Tulane. And the Blue Devils, who've had a very good night on special teams as well. That's helped set up a couple of their scores. Trevor Sims with a big leg. Will kick it. And the second half is underway. Into the end zone, and Duke gets the football. All right, Adam Archuleta, first half of the first game. Thomas Sirk moved the football. Duke offensively, what would you like to see in the second half?
Well, I think, first of all, they have to continue what they're doing, but they have to make Tulane's defense pay for them being aggressive, and that means throwing the ball downfield and converting downfield, I think, is the next step in Sirk's evolution.
All right, if you're Tulane, how do you get yourself back into the game?
Well, I think first and foremost, they have to be able to be successful on critical downs. 0 for 6 in that first half has led to 0 points by this offense.
Duke football, 1st and 10, their own 25. Sean Wilson was the feature back for Duke in that first half, and he has the first carry, a gain of 4. Wilson, 42 yards on 8 carries.
Well, Shaquille Powell is kind of their do-everything, the hard-nosed runner and the veteran of this running back crew. But, boy, you got to be excited for Sean Wilson, who averaged almost 8 yards per carry last season. His speed in the open field is exceptional.
Cirk on second down, and again, straight ahead is Wilson, a sophomore out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He averaged 46 yards a game last year.
A big key for Tulane. You saw at the end of the first half, they were really soft on defense. They were on their heels. They played an aggressive first half where guys were flying all over the place. They got to regain that mentality and pressure and put a lot of pressure on Thomas Cirk.
Here comes pressure. It's a blitz. Cirk for McCaffrey, who comes back, makes the catch at midfield. Max McCaffrey, the senior, out of Castle Rock, Colorado. 29 yards and a first down for Duke.
Boy, this is terrific. Thomas Cirk with pressure right in his face. Press coverage against Jared Franklin, and that's beautiful. I love the way McCaffrey gets the separation right at that end of the play to create that pocket, and they made the Tulane's defense pay for that aggressive blitz.
Wilson, a couple misses, and Wilson bounces outside to the 30. Boy, what a run, an athletic run by Sean Wilson. Nico Marley finally brought him down after a gain of 11.
Now let's go back to the first half where Sean Wilson was able to break off some pretty big runs. It comes down to tackling. You're an open guy and you have a shot on him. You have to be able to keep your leverage. I mean, 4 tackles in 1 run is just not acceptable if you want to play good defense.
Wilson again, this time maybe a yard. Duke, at the end of the first half, went length of the field, came away with a field goal to stretch their lead to 13-0. Remember, Tulane had stopped them inside the 10 on a 3-and-out, but Tulane lined up offsides on the punt return. Duke got the ball back, and that's when they went length of the field. 2nd and 9. This time Powell. And Shaquille Powell, the senior, inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
A better job right there by the defense in leveraging that football and not allowing Powell to break the contain of the defense. I mean, that's defense 101, setting the edge to the defense. You see the wall set right there by both defensive back. Jared Franklin doing a good job, and then you allow that safety to come up and fill the alley.
This is field goal range for Duke. Cirk on 3rd and 8. Time and a receiver and a drop. Harry Nickerson had 6 interceptions last year. That very easily and probably should have been his first this year.
Oh, gotta have it. Worst pass of the day for Thomas Cirk. And you see that he tries to force it in there. Harry Nickerson, I mean, that ball was just terribly overthrown, trying to hit Chris Taylor in the slot. And that ball just got away for Thomas Cirk. I mean, Perry Nickerson, a guy that has just been an interception magnet right there, could have made a big play for his defense.
46-yarder for Martin, who is 2 of 2, and now he is 3 of 3. He missed just 2 all of last year. And right now, David Cutcliffe and the Blue Devils are clicking. 16-0 as we start this second half.
To Yulman Stadium, where Duke is up 16 over Tulane. And this offseason, the Blue Devils have had to work to fill some holes. Now it's time for the icy hot injury report. Duke has 3 guys out. Brian Fields and Kelby Brown both out with the ACL, out for the season, and running back Jalay Duncan tore his pectoral, and he is out indefinitely. Back to you, Rich.
All right, thank you, Cassie. And for Fields and Brown, Adam, those are 2 big spots to fill defensively for Duke.
Major spots. And when we talked to Jim Knowles about it, he said, well, you know, Kelby Brown, we didn't have him last year, so we were a little bit more prepared, and we like the athleticism that we have at the linebacker spot. But, boy, Brian Fields, who has gone 27 games here at cornerback for the Blue Devil defense, who tore his ACL just 1 week ago, that is a major spot that they have to fill. And Alonzo Saxon, as you can see, got picked on a little bit earlier in this game by Teddy Veal. He's going to have to step up and be a big playmaker on this defense.
You saw Carmichael, he plays special teams as well. Beatty will go to a knee, and Tulane will get this at their own 25-yard line, trailing right now 16-0 to the Duke Blue Devils. Carmichael, 2 tackles tonight. He's the man replacing Kelby Brown. Alonzo Saxton has been solid in coverage. And David Cutcliffe has to be really happy with his 2 running backs, Sean Wilson and Shaq Powell.
Well, especially Sean Wilson. I mean, every time he touches the ball, he's been able to shake one of the Tulane defenders and get extra yards after the point of contact. So he's been an exciting weapon, and I'd keep feeding him if I was David Cutcliffe.
Now Tulane, first possession, second half. Tanner Lee, a swing pass. Sherman Beatty makes the catch. And Beatty has a gain of about a yard. Tanner Lee looked good on his last drive. Tulane moved the football. That drive stalled inside Duke territory. He finished that first half 10 of 17 for 96 yards. Swings it out. This is Hilliard. Nice move to stay alive on the sideline. He'll get to the 30, and he'll bring up third down and about 3. And this was a trouble spot for Tulane in the first half.
0 for 6. And you can say this is a big reason why they weren't able to score any points. They've had decent field position, and they were able to drive the ball a little bit in that first half. But that inability to convert on these third downs is why they sit here blanked in the second half.
So on 3rd and 5 from their own 30, Duke blitzes. Lee, in a tight space, gets it through to Devon Breaux, who has the catch and the first down. It's a 7-yard pickup.
It's a tough catch right there. Really good, tight coverage. You can see Breon Borders right there in excellent position, but Breaux gets inside in their first conversion of the game.
So Lee on 1st and 10. Now he's going to take a shot down the field. Breaux again, and he was bumped before the catch, but he was well out of bounds, and it's incomplete. Good coverage on the sideline.
Well, that's what you're going to get from Breon Borders. This is their quintessential lockdown cornerback. Great technique. He squeezes Breaux to the sideline. Nowhere for Tanner Lee to throw the football. And I'm surprised that they're choosing to go with Breon Borders. I would go make Alonzo Saxton prove to me that he can cover Teddy Veal.
Lee, that strike was right on the numbers, and Breaux couldn't hold it.
I think you're playing with fire, Rich. You keep testing Breon Borders. He's led this secondary for 2 straight years. 3 interceptions last year. Again, their best cover guy right there into Breaux's hips. And they're lucky that a guy like Devon Edwards there playing free safety didn't get his hands on that tip pass.
3rd down and 10. I think we saw the arm strength of Tanner Lee on that throw.
You still got to complete it. Doesn't matter how hard you throw it, Rich.
From the 37 of Tulane, Duke shows blitz. And here they come. Lee hit as he throws, and that's deflected and incomplete. And the man to get to him, Jeremy Cash, the senior safety.
Well, you can see Jim Knowles tonight in 3rd and long situation. The plan is to pressure Tanner Lee. I mean, that ball has to get out of his hands a lot faster. And again, I'm a little surprised at a couple things here tonight. First, that this has turned into a pass-first offense when I think you have to test this front 7 against the run. And again, the decision to go at Breon Borders when you had great success going to the other side of the field there in the first half.
Piccarelli to punt, Ryan Smith for Duke. Remember, he had that spectacular return that set up the touchdown for Duke. A fair catch. He's out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Duke offensively has been good. Defensively, the Blue Devils have been perfect. 16-0 Blue Devils. And Tulane, and Duke on top 16-0. Who is driven to succeed? It's brought to you by Cooper Tires. Nico Marley is driven to succeed. Grandson of Bob. His father was a dynamite linebacker at Miami, Rohan Marley. The only scholarship offer he got was from Tulane. What's he done tonight that's caught your eye?
He's been active. And you see with that low center of gravity that he has, just going at those thigh boards, making contact. He's been all over the field tonight, 9 tackles. And I tell you what, I'm not making this comparison because this guy was a bad dude, but he kind of reminds me a little bit about Bob Sanders, who was so good, who was only 5'8", but was so good at attacking that thigh board. It's a lot of fun to watch Nico Marley play defense.
Duke back on offense. Sirk pulls it, and Sirk's got a big gainer across the 45 out to the 47-yard line. That's a 16-yard pickup. Cassie Gallo, you've got more on Nico Marley.
Yeah, Rich, Nico Marley is one of those guys. He's so easygoing. You can talk to him about anything, but his face lights up when he talks about his grandfather. Said he's a huge inspiration, knows every word to every song. His favorite is Redemption Song. Pre-game, that's all Nico listens to. I asked Nico if he could sing too. He said, of course, yes, but Tanner Lee, his roommate, laughed, said, Nico sings out loud all the time, but it's a good thing he's good at football.
He is. Weston, Florida, 5'10", 208 pounds. He's got company. A lot of people, that's their favorite song. Duke moving again. Sirk on the handoff. And around the end, Shaq Powell. Powell bumped out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Eric Thomas, the stop for Tulane. And a Tulane player is down. Sean Wilson, the sophomore, back at the 45-yard line. We'll step aside. 16-0 Duke. Sean Wilson is the injured Tulane player. They're looking at his left knee. Adam, what did you see?
Well, you can see him. He's playing this left defensive end spot. And as Tanner Stone, the right guard, comes down, he just simple chop block. And that's a legal block because Wilson was not engaged with anybody. You see him right there, number 94. And Tanner Stone going down in his knee. It looked like just your normal, typical chop block that those guys deal with all the time on that defensive line, but obviously in a lot of pain right there on the sideline.
Duke a 16-0 lead. Thomas Sirk in his first start, in his first night at the controls of this Duke offense, and he's been really good. Spinning there, another pickup inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. That's an 11-yard pickup. Sirk has been accurate with his arm, active with his feet.
Well, his defense right now, they have to get some energy. You see the blitz coming off of that right side. Darian Monroe misses the tackle on Thomas Sirk. And right now the game plan seems to be to get that offensive line and that running game to wear down this Tulane defense and take away that aggressive nature.
Sirk to the air, and it's broken up. Ball loose. Or was it caught? Tulane says they have it. I don't know. I don't know that it was a lateral, and I don't know that it was intercepted.
No, that ball clearly looked like it hit the ground, and it was an incomplete pass.
There were no whistles when the ball hit the ground, and so everybody kept playing.
The only question is if that was a lateral, but I don't think it was anywhere near behind the line of scrimmage.
It is an incompletion. It's been a long night for the fourth-year head coach of Tulane, Curtis Johnson. Second down and 10 from the Tulane 27. Sirk has thrown for 207. He's run for 63, and he adds to it here to the 22-yard line. That's a gain of 5. Corey Redwine, who came in for Wilson, made the stop for Tulane. And there's another Tulane player who is down, and it's Redwine who just came in for the injured Wilson. There's Wilson, a brace on that left knee, and still in a lot of pain. And while they tend to, Corey Redwine will break Duke up 16-0. Corey Redwine came off the field under his own power. Duke right now on a really nice drive. 6 plays, 47 yards. They're eating clock and trying to build on a 16-0 lead. And the Blue Devils have over 270 yards in combined offense from their junior quarterback, Thomas Sirk.
I'm a little surprised, not because it's not effective, because it has been very effective, that they have chosen to run Thomas Sirk as much as he has tonight. You would think that maybe you want to protect him a little bit, not expose him to a lot of abuse, but boy, they are not shy about using him in the quarterback running game.
Barnes in motion, 3rd down 5. Sirk swings it out. It's Powell, and Powell breaks a tackle inside the 15 and out of bounds at the 12. Eric Thomas made the stop, and Duke's drive continues on a 10-yard pickup.
Boy, Duke doing a really good job again getting that ball out to Powell, and a good job by the left tackle. Great Gabe Brandner getting the block outside on the cornerback, and there's nobody running from the inside out to get to Powell before he gets the first down.
You see Duke in the red zone. Last year, Tulane was 2nd in the nation in red zone defense. It's brought to you by Verizon. Sirk's pitch on the ground and loose and picked up. It's Tulane's football. Darian Monroe has it, and the Green Wave finally get a turnover, something they've done very well the last 3 seasons.
Boy, this is one of the problems you have when you run the option play. Nico Marley puts the pressure on Thomas Sirk in an ill-advised pitch, gives the Green Wave defense an opportunity to make a play, pick up that football, and give the ball back to the offense. That is exactly what you needed right now to give your defense some energy, your team some energy. Now it's just up to the offense to try and capitalize and put points on the board.
Tulane, in their last 3 seasons, had forced 87 turnovers in 37 games.
Very proud of that stat when you talk to not only their players, we talked to Nico Marley and Darian Monroe and even their coordinator. They stress turnovers so much in practice, and they've done such a good job. The turnovers are nice, but they're even better when you're able to turn those into points.
Tulane is down 2 scores at home at their own 23. And on the ground, a nice pickup out to the 34-yard line. Sherman Beatty. Dwayne Norman makes the stop for Duke. Tulane moves the chains, an 11-yard pickup.
I know you're down by 16 points, and that's only conceivably 2 scores if you get a 2-point conversion. But I do think they have to find out. The strength of this offense is their running backs. So getting the ball in their hands, not only in the running game, but in the passing game, has to be something you try and do if you're Tulane.
Now Hilliard, and the hole is closed pretty quickly by Xavier Carmichael, the sophomore linebacker out of 8 Mile, Alabama. Beatty, after that 11-yard pickup, went off with an arm and a nice throw to Unkelad, and Taron Unkelad, the sophomore, has got a first down. Out to the 48-yard line, 13 yards from Tanner Lee.
Well, I really like what Tanner Lee did on this play. He initially thought about checking this down, but you see him just at that last moment, he sees that Unkelad is able to find that little soft spot, and he hits him perfectly.
And another good throw, a tumbling catch by Trey Scott, sophomore tight end. A gain of 4, 2nd down and 6.
A little surprised we haven't seen more of Trey Scott. They felt that he's more of a wide receiver, and they really felt that that would be a very good matchup against this Duke defense.
Hilliard's off left tackle, close to the first down, to the 43-yard line. Now Tulane's got some rhythm, and they're moving the football.
A big reason for that, Rich, is that they've run the ball, and they've run it effectively. But this is another 3rd and short, a critical down they have to get.
Hilliard on 3rd and short has the first down inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Just the second third down that Tulane has converted. Up-tempo, no huddle. Lee, middle, deflected, and picked. Did Carmichael hold it? Xavier Carmichael on the deflection, a diving interception. And a turnover right at the Duke 20-yard line.
Boy, that was a tiny window that Tanner Lee tried to fit that football in there. That was just a great job by the Duke safeties, DeAndre Singleton and Devon Edwards, to sandwich that play. Pretty athletic by Xavier Carmichael. He was the underneath coverage right there.
Ooh.
And he turns around. Did he have control under it?
Is it a catch? Ball. Ooh, that's close. Arch, did he have his arm under it?
The way I understand the catch rule is that the ball can hit the ground, and if it just moves a little bit, that's okay. If he controls that ball through the process of the catch, in theory, and I say theory because we all know this is a big gray area, that should be an interception that stands. In my eyes, the ball did not move enough, and he demonstrated control throughout the entire process of that catch.
The Duke defense forces a big turnover, and the Blue Devils have it now, their own 21-yard line. Wilson, a gain of 1. Sean Wilson has had a nice ball game. He's run for 60 yards on 13 carries. Tanner Lee on the phone. 2nd and 9. Cirque alone in the backfield. Quick screen. Barnes stood up and dropped at the 29-yard line, short of the first down. Quick to the sidelines, and Cassie Gallo.
Yeah, Rich, Sean Wilson is still on the trainer's table. They've been working on it, and you can tell he's been in a lot of pain. They just wrapped it with ice, his left knee, and they gave him crutches. I'm told he is out for the rest of the game.
All right, thank you, Cassie. It's a big loss on that defensive front for Tulane. 3rd down and 3 for Duke. Just under 5 minutes left, third quarter here in New Orleans. Cirque steps up, short throw. Barnes has the first down across the 40 to the 42-yard line. The question was, who would replace Jamison Crowder? And I guess the answer tonight is a lot of guys.
That's what they thought. They need that guy. You know, Max McCaffrey, he's that consistent possession-type receiver. But I think, as we've seen, T.J. Rahming, the Army freshman All-American, is one of those guys, as well as John L. Barnes, a guy that really started to come on in the last 3 games of last season. They really expect him to be a big impact in this offense.
Barnes has 7 catches. Rahming has 6. McCaffrey has 4. So Cirque really has spread it around, and that carry is out to the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 3. Cirque, a big-time passer in high school, and I think a lot of people saw last year he was a short yardage, run-first guy, but as a senior in high school, growing up in Florida, he threw for over 2,300 yards his senior year. This is Wilson, midfield, and Wilson inside the 45 to the 44-yard line.
You can see the speed of Wilson. Anytime he gets that ball, he's been able to get to that edge, and he has the speed to outrun the inside defenders from Tulane. It just seems that every time Wilson gets that chance, the Green Wave is not able to put an edge to the defense.
Cirque keeps it. Marley drops him on a 1-yard pickup. Second down, 9. Duke at it again, moving the football, eating clock with a 16-0 lead. You got a trio of Duke assistants up there in the right-hand corner of your screen. All signaling in the play. Sirk rolling, and he flips it to the sideline. It's incomplete. So many superlatives to talk about for Duke over the last 2 or 3 seasons. The last 20 regular season games they've played, and it takes away bowl games or the ACC title game, Duke is 17-3, and that includes regular season ACC games. That's pretty good. Third down and 9. Search throw to nobody. And the Tulane defense gets a much-needed stop.
Well, you got to say, Rich, there's been a few lapses on the Tulane defense, and they've certainly played with more energy in the first half. But to be here towards the end of the third quarter, only giving up 16 points, I think they've done a pretty good job, and they've done their part. They've had a couple of turnovers. Offense's inability to capitalize that has really hurt the Green Wave of trying to be in this game.
A wobbler of a kick and a fair catch made at the 8.
Players coming back. Got to believe that the addition of Will Muschamp and Jeremiah Johnson is going to be a little bit too much. I like what Auburn is capable of this season.
Now, Tulane moved the football. Obviously, they turned it over in Duke territory. And as you pointed out, Adam, running the football was key in that drive.
It was the first time we've seen balance to this offense where they have had success. And I think that kind of caught this defense off guard a little bit. Lee tries to force the ball in a tight window, and a great athletic play by Xavier Carmichael is the reason why that last drive stalled.
Play action, Lee flushed, steps through it, and throws a bullet through the arms of one receiver and then out of the arms of another. Rob Kelly was the first guy to touch it. Charlie Jones was the second man.
Yeah, Rob Kelly, coming into this game, especially talking to this coaching staff, they felt the fact that he missed last year and that he was so good in the passing game would have been a pretty big impact here, but they just haven't been able to get the ball in their running backs' hands in the passing game like they had hoped to coming in.
Lee now on 3rd and 9 from his goal line. Has a man near the sticks, caught a yard shy of the first down. It's Charles Jones, an 8-yard pickup, and the punt team is coming on.
Well, Lee had a clean pocket, and he had pretty good footwork right there. The timing was there. He waited for his receiver to get open, but, boy, this is where youth comes in. When it's 3rd down, you have to know where the first down marker is. You have to get your depth because it does you no good when you come up a yard short on 3rd down.
Charles Jones, a sophomore, and we talked about Tulane last year, freshmen piled up in the skill spots. Fair catch made by Ryan Smith right at midfield. A 32-yard punt, and Duke has great field position. Duke hasn't been spectacular, but they've been very, very efficient tonight, both defensively and offensively.
Well, you can see here in the second half, the game plan got very conservative. And you saw Coach Cutcliffe, you saw Scotty Montgomery really try and lean on this run game, try to shorten up this game a little bit, wear down that Tulane front. But I think if there's 2 things that stand out that are not acceptable for Coach Cutcliffe is the fact that they've had some turnovers, and offensively they've let that Tulane defensive front get in the backfield.
This is Shaq Powell, and he's out of bounds. Ade Arunya and Nico Marley made the stop for Tulane.
Green Wave having a hard time on the outside, and now you're starting to see this defense slow down a little bit and Duke really start to attack the outside part of that defense. You've got to be able to set that edge and make that running back go inside to the rest of your teammates.
Powell, a gain of 4. Sirk, deep, middle, and through the hands of a leaping T.J. Roming. Perry Nickerson on the coverage.
Almost.
Well, that's kind of been the story, hasn't it, for Tulane? Almost. Nickerson had that interception go through his hands. The 3-and-out defensive stop, and of course followed by the offsides on the punt return, which was such a turn of events in the first half. Caught there, a bullet of a throw. Janelle Barnes from the 35 down to the 32. I don't know that there's any question about Thomas Sirk's arm strength.
He's got a gun. I mean, you know, the accuracy was a question, and he's been accurate, but you've seen maybe on 3 or 4 throws tonight, chances where he's had to go down the field, he hasn't quite hit that guy. And so I would say that's part of his game that has to improve. The ability that when you get the open guy down the field, when you find the matchup that you're looking for, that you're able to make that defense pay.
Barnes with the catch. Thomas Sirk and the Duke Blue Devils. An impressive effort tonight in Tulane. David Cutcliffe in 3 quarters has come to New Orleans and has a 16-0 lead over Tulane. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, Adam Archuleta. I think a lot of people want to see this year in Duke football. Are they going to take that next step? So far, not spectacular, very efficient.
They've been efficient. You know, they played a pretty good first half for the opening game. But look, you come out here in the second half, and I felt like maybe they took their foot off the gas a little bit too early. It hasn't been very crisp. I don't think Sirk's second half is as good as his first half. I'd like to see them a little bit more aggressive and see what that offense is able to do.
Inside Tulane territory, Duke with a football. On 2nd down and 6. Thomas Sirk for the end zone, and it's over the head of John L. Barnes and Richard Allen, who was on the coverage for Tulane. How do you measure Tulane defensively tonight?
I think they've done a pretty good job. They started this game off with a lot of energy, and they were flying around. They were hitting. They were exactly what they were built up to be, and I think at times they've been a little bit flat. So energetically, this defense has to pick it up a little bit and end this game the way they started.
3rd and 6. Little dump over the middle. It's caught there. That's Eric Schneider, the junior. He is 3rd on the depth chart, which is a very talented position of tight end at Duke. Braxton Deaver, David Reeves, and Eric Schneider.
Yeah, between Deaver and Deaves, they have 11 combined TD catches. That's the most in the ACC from a tight end duo.
4th and short, Duke going for it.
Which quarterback lead?
Got to get to the 22. Sirk hit. I don't know that he got it. We'll see. Monroe made the initial hit. The surge for Sirk may have taken him inside the 22.
It's that same lead play they ran earlier on that short yardage situation where Sirk gashed the defense for about 10 yards. A better job being stout up front.
You surprised they went for it on 4th and short? They have one of the best field goal kickers, who is 3 for 3 tonight in Ross Martin. One of the best field goal kickers in the country.
I think you have a quarterback who excels running the football, and the first time you ran that play, you gashed the defense for about 12 yards. So I got to imagine they like their odds in picking up this first down.
And they did not pick it up. And so Tulane defense holds, and Duke gives the football up.
Well, once again, this defense, at times, the Blue Devils have moved the ball on them, but they've been able to hold. They've done a good job of not allowing Duke to put points on the board. They've forced a couple of turnovers, and again, they've given their offense the opportunity. Now it's the offense's turn. Now they have to do their part, and they have to be able to turn the corner.
Remember what David Cutcliffe said to Cassie Gallo going in at halftime. It's only 2 scores, and Tulane has a very good quarterback and a very explosive offense. No points yet. Tanner Lee. And he's hit and blasted at the 14-yard line. Carlos Ray with a sack.
Well, this is what you can't have. This is a complete bust right up the gut. And Carlos Ray just comes unabated to the quarterback and blasts Tanner Lee. I mean, he had absolutely zero chance to get that ball off.
Second down and long. Hilliard out of the backfield. Nice move to the 20, and Hilliard all the way across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Breon Borders made the stop. It's a 12-yard pickup.
That's a good job by Hilliard on getting those precious yards back. Now at least 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. You have some sort of chance to convert. I mean, you go back to that play earlier. That's really the first time that Tanner Lee hasn't had good protection tonight.
3rd down 6. Duke showing blitz. Here they come. Lee sideline, and it's incomplete. Contact on the sideline. Devin Breaux, the intended receivers, and Breon Borders with another play.
Where's Teddy Veal been? I mean, this is the 4th time in the second half. And that's perfect coverage by Breon Borders. There is absolutely no way you're going to be able to fit that ball into Devin Breaux on the sideline. Again, you've had the ability for Teddy Veal to win his matchups in the first half. He has to be a guy you feature here as you try and get back in this game.
5 catches in that first half. He's been shut out as Teddy Veal in the second half.
No, they haven't even tried to get the ball to him.
Short snap, a disaster. Flags down. Flagged out to 24. Rob Kelly fell on the loose ball. And Duke reacting like the penalty is against Tulane, and they're going to get great field position here.
I got to tell you, Rich, I don't even know how.
An illegal shift on the offense. The penalty is declined. First down.
I really don't know how this happens. I mean, this snap, nothing interferes with this ball. Watch the snap right there in the middle. Now, I don't know what to say about that. And again, special teams, that has arguably been the sorest spot for this football team last year, really puts this defense in a bad spot.
And Duke in a great spot. Sean Wilson in the backfield with Sirk. And it's Wilson, kept though by Sirk, inside the 15. Flag flies in from the defensive backfield. Another nice pickup by Sirk. And it's going against Duke.
I think they might get Lucas Patrick.
Illegal block in the back. 89 offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Played it down.
Braxton Deaver with that illegal block. 16-0, Duke on top. And right now David Cutcliffe is probably saying, you've been here for 6 years. You should know better than that. To the sideline, Barnes with a juggling catch, and Barnes still on his feet, races into the end zone. Did he step out? He's in. It's a touchdown. 29 yards. I don't know how he stayed in.
Boy, David Reeves, the second tight end here. Watch him, number 80 at the top. Look at this block that he puts on Richard Allen, puts him on his back, and then there's nobody to tackle Barnes. That is an easy play, but you gotta love that block on the outside by David Reeves to spring Barnes.
Well, he came close, but he stayed in. And John L. Barnes, the junior, having a big night tonight. 10 catches, 101 yards, and now a touchdown.
It's a good example of feeding the guy that's been hot, the guy that's been able to make plays for you. And that's something that Tulane offensively hasn't been able to do.
Extra point up and good. 2 mistakes on special teams by Tulane have been turned into 14 points. Terrific stuff from Duke, and they capitalize. John L. Barnes from Thomas Sirk, and the Blue Devils are flying in New Orleans.
Brett, as we go from New York
to New Orleans. And eventually we're going to make our way to Hawaii late tonight.
Late one.
Jonell Barnes, 10 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown.
Brent Stover's going to be awake when I wake up to catch my flight in the morning.
Well, that
Still
game
covering the Hawaii.
That game in Hawaii might just be getting to the fourth quarter.
I can't wait to text Brent back in New York. This is a late one for those guys.
Colorado and Hawaii is coming up. Right now, Duke impressively shutting out Tulane. As much as we've talked about Duke's offense tonight, the defense deserves a lot of recognition. Jim Knowles and his defense right now pitching a shutout.
A lot of questions for them. They're replacing 3 of their 4 defensive linemen. They have brand new linebackers playing. And so far, they've been able to shut down this Tulane attack.
Bro went to a knee to make the catch at the 1. And so Tulane is going to have to go 99 yards.
Well, that's pretty unbelievable. I think they'll be able to run his offense. Max Wittig certainly has the physical tools necessary. Now let's see, can Mr. Chow work his quarterback magic and give them a passing attack?
From their own 1, Tanner Lee on 1st and 10. And they'll keep it on the ground. But maybe a yard. Tough sledding. Xavier Carmichael made the stop on Lizedrick Thompson. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, and Jenny Dell drew the short straw, and they have to open the season in Honolulu.
Are you being sarcastic?
That is a big dollop of sarcasm. 1 a.m. Eastern here on CBS Sports Network.
Rich, drew the short straw last year, and I opened up in Hawaii.
Very nice. You and I will be in Hawaii for Halloween night to see Air Force and Hawaii. Right now, Tulane's just looking for breathing room. Rob Kelly on the carry. And he's out to the 6-yard line. So much attention on the offense of Duke, and rightfully so. David Cutcliffe has done a great job with that, and so has Scotty Montgomery. Jim Knowles, though, he's got a much deeper and more physical defense than when he first arrived.
Well, one thing is that they've really struggled to stop the run, and they really felt like this year they've gotten bigger at that defensive tackle spot, and they've kind of changed their philosophy a little bit. They want to be more attacking and hit those gaps, and they feel like that's going to be the difference to allow them to be better against the run.
Lee is hit. He gets it out, and it's incomplete. Flag goes down at the 25-yard line. Trey Scott, the intended receiver. Breon Borders on the coverage.
Well, you've seen here for the second time here in the second half, Tanner Lee gets planted on the ground. But again, I hate to break it to you, but you're not going to attack Breon Borders down the field.
Defense, number 31. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And have a high level of success. Now, we're going to have to take a look at this again because it looked like, to me, coverage was pretty solid on the outside.
I think Borders would agree with you.
He's been locking it down the entire night. And there's contact, but you can clearly see that he was turning his head. I think that's outstanding coverage.
So there's some breathing room for Tulane. Jones, reaching back, makes a sliding catch at the 24-yard line. It's a gain of 3. But Tulane has dug themselves a 23-point hole with 11 minutes left in the ball game. Sherman Beatty back in the backfield. Lee slides up in the pocket, throws it over the middle, and it's caught there. It's Bro, and he's gone. Devin Bro went up, stole it, and scores. And Tulane is on the board, 76 yards.
Well, what a nicely thrown pass. Again, Tanner Lee enjoying great protection. And that's going to allow him to stand tall in the pocket, climb the pocket, and deliver that ball down the field. And that's just a great example of Devin Breaux going up and getting that ball over Jeremy McDuffie, the backup cornerback. Now that's what you have to do. You can't attack Breon Borders. You have to go to the other guys that haven't been able to prove themselves.
Andrew Duraco with the extra point. Tanner Lee, the sophomore quarterback, standing tall in the pocket, took a hit but delivers. And Tulane is on the board. "76-yard touchdown pass. Devin Breaux from Tanner Lee." Ladies and gentlemen, the artistic renderings of Adam Archuleta.
Well, this was beautifully done. This is designed to take the safety out of there, get him to bite up on this underneath route, and that's going to open up the man-on-man coverage right here for Devin Breaux to isolate on the corner. Watch as the underneath route draws the safety up. That isolates one-on-one coverage, and now it's about who's going to go up and make the play. It's about competing. Devin Breaux is able to go up, snatch that ball, and give this offense the explosive play it's been needing.
A minor in telestration at Arizona State.
Yes.
Impressive.
Yes.
Impressive.
I got a A- in illustration class my senior year.
And David Cutcliffe in our team meetings remembered you from your days at Arizona State. Tulane will kick it away. Devon Edwards busts loose. Edwards midfield. Devon Edwards to the 20, to the 10, to the house. Touchdown Duke. His fourth career kickoff return for a touchdown. And that, my friends, is an answer for the Blue Devils. 95 yards.
Devon Edwards, arguably the best player on this Duke football team, runs the 10-6 in 100 meters. He's 5'9", but can dunk a basketball. He's the most exciting football player on this team. And special teams, once again, a strength for this Duke football team and a major weakness for Tulane.
And there is no question that's been an enormous factor in this football game. Duke adds the point. Edwards adds to what has been a great career in Durham. The junior out of Covington, Georgia, 95 yards. And the Blue Devils stretch their lead. Orleans, Duke enjoying their stay. And that guy, another electric play. Devon Edwards, his fourth career kickoff return for a touchdown. This one went for 95. You know, David Cutcliffe didn't have this type of depth, didn't have this type of explosiveness when he walked on this campus. Duke in the 4 previous years before he arrived had won just 4 football games. And now here they are. They're deep, they're fast, they're much more physical, and they've won a bunch of football games in the last 3 years.
Well, he's elevated the profile here at Duke, and he has a reputation now of a head coach that is going to develop their football players, and now they're starting to get better recruits. I mean, you just look at their last recruiting class. T.J. Rahming was an Army All-American in high school. Ben Humphreys, a linebacker, was an Army All-American in high school. You've got guys like Devon Edwards, guys like Jeremy Cash, so they're starting to get the athletes now that have really helped them elevate their profile in the ACC.
Tanner Lee back, and Lee's throw incomplete. Reaching back and trying to make that catch was Trey Scott, and he paid the price.
Right, that's Jeremy Cash. We just saw Devon Edwards make a little bit of an impact, and then, boy, you see Scott go right into Jeremy Cash's zone, and boy, Cash is a guy that loves to thrive and show off his physicality.
Second down and 10. Tanner Lee and Tulane hit on a big play. Devin Breaux made the catch, and that's Breaux again. out at the 38-yard line. The other thing, going back to Duke, that they've done, Adam, and you'll appreciate this since you played in the league, you look at the NFL rosters, and now it's not unusual to see a Duke player. They actually had a first-round pick, an offensive lineman, and just a dynamite player who looks to have a bright future, and that's Laken Tomlinson. The Lions took him in the first round. On third down, blitz is coming. Lee in trouble, dumps it off, flag goes down. I think someone caught Lee's face mask. And Tulane may end up getting a first down here.
This spot. Holding. Number 66. Offense. Have a previous spot foul.
And that, Curtis Johnson, his quarterback Tanner Lee actually turned to the sideline and motioned face mask.
That's the center right there, Nathan Shinley. You can see he grabs the jersey of Xavier Carmichael, who came up inside on the blitz. But
what about the face mask?
They missed it.
Well, someone needs to tell Curtis Johnson that, because he's not real happy. And that was a third down. That's a big missed call. Obviously offsetting penalties. They would have had the down again. As it is, Peter Piccarelli into punt. Say that 5 times fast.
You can. You're the play-by-play guy. This is what
Ryan Smith is deep. And a high short kick. And the fair catch made right at the 36-yard line. 30-0 Duke on top, or 30-7 Duke up here. Let's go to Brent Stover in New York.
Take a miracle, but the Gophers could still do it, guys.
Thank you, Brent, who will be working early into the morning in New York with Colorado and Hawaii coming up after this one. And it's Parker Boehm who is in for the Blue Devils. Boehm, sophomore, Jacksonville Beach, Florida. We saw him on a goal line situation, and it looks like Thomas Sirk will get the rest of the night off. This is Boehm to the 39-yard line. Not a bad start for Thomas Sirk, and that's with the arm and with the legs.
He did some good things. I think if you break down his game, he came in and accomplished what he was supposed to accomplish. But if you can pick one area to improve, and that would be the downfield passing game. There were some times where they tried to attack this defense, and he just missed the guy on that one-on-one matchup. And I think as defenses try and play this offense and take care of the running game and take care of the quarterback run game element that they bring to the table, he's going to have to be able to exploit the matchups, and he's going to be able to throw that ball accurately downfield. I'm not necessarily sure that he accomplished that here tonight against Tulane.
A lot of yards, a couple touchdowns, and no picks. Deep kick. And Teddy Veal to the 10. Veal breaks a couple tackles, hangs on to the football, and is down at the 11-yard line. 55 yards on that punt. Big night for Duke, 30-7 on top in New Orleans. Duke opening on the road in the American against Tulane with a 30-7 lead late in the fourth. Time for a look at our up for whatever moment of the game, and it's brought to you by Bud Light. A lot of those moments for Thomas Sirk, his first start as a Duke quarterback.
I thought this was a very good start for Thomas Sirk. We saw what he did last year using his legs to threaten the quarterback running game. He did a really good job in completing the short passes and the intermediate passes. He looked like he was composed and in command of this offense. But the one thing that they have to do, and Thomas Sirk has to do, at least offensively, is they've got to find a way to put more points on the board. They've got to be able to convert and make defenses pay. And once they start playing some of these better defenses in the ACC, they're going to have to be able to convert those passes down the field in the one-on-one matchups.
Tanner Lee on the sideline, a catch there by Taron Unkelad. Well, the one thing that Duke has is the opportunity to work and add to what Thomas Sirk and the offense has done tonight. North Carolina Central is their next opponent at home, Northwestern at home, Georgia Tech at home, Boston College at home. So 4 straight home games follow this one for Duke before it gets tough. And they have to go on the road, though they did win road games, 3 of them last year in the ACC. Joseph Ajibi into the ball game, making the stop for the Blue Devils. Tanner Lee still running the Tulane offense. Steps through the pocket and delivers that pass to Sherman Beatty at the 26-yard line. A gain of 3.
Well, we started this game off in our open. We talked about first game of the year, there's knowns and there's unknowns. And it's the unknowns that give you butterflies and cause a little bit of nervousness. And I think if you're Curtis Johnson, you found out a couple things. That Tanner Lee in this passing game is much improved from where it was last year. Now, they still have to be able to execute in those critical downs, but the protection was there. And you saw a lot of good things from Tanner Lee. But the big elephant in the room, those special teams, again, that were so devastating to this football team a year ago, has made their presence felt in this game again. And if they don't shore that up, they're going to be very disappointed this season.
Crushing penalty on a punt return. They gave up a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Devon Edwards. Remember the bad snap on the punt that essentially was a turnover.
So that gave Duke the ball right inside, what, the 20-25-yard line.
Brian Smith is deep. And Piccarelli will kick it away. That rolls inside the 30 and to the 25-yard line. We had Archie Manning here tonight. So much history in New Orleans and so much history in and around this campus. Remember, the Sugar Bowl used to be played right here at Tulane Stadium.
I remember that game.
I know. You were on the sideline. Wallace Wade, the coach, and Duke beat Alabama. Old Tulane Stadium was over there. It was a monstrous place. It housed some Super Bowls as well. Duke would like to get back to the Sugar Bowl. And that throw from Bain is caught. And maybe that's the next step for the Blue Devils, is a big-name bowl and a win in a bowl. That shootout with Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M 2 years ago at the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta certainly helped elevate the program, even though Duke lost.
You can make a big argument that they were the best football team on the field that night. And you're right, Rich. That is the next step for them, is they've had a chance to go to 3 straight bowl games. But now you have to be able to win those ball games. And I think they feel really good about the talent that they're getting here. They're getting more depth than they've ever had here. The reputation of David Cutcliffe is a place where recruits now want to come. So I certainly think that this is a football team that can sustain their success. But yes, getting to that next step is key for David Cutcliffe and the Blue Devils.
5.5 minutes left here in New Orleans. Parker Bain is running this offense, and Nico Pierre, the redshirt freshman out of Miami, with the carry. That's another thing. You see where these recruits are coming from. David Cutcliffe is starting to get talent out of Florida, and Pierre, one of those guys from Miami. It's something that, I mean, if you compare Duke to a Stanford, that's what Stanford's been able to do. They've been able to recruit across the country and build a power. First with Jim Harbaugh, now with David Shaw. Good hard running by the sophomore quarterback, Parker Bain.
Now he's another guy who can run it and pass it. Coming out of high school, had over 3,200 total yards, 40 touchdowns. Depending on who you look at, was 20 or 25th dual threat quarterback in the country. So certainly a guy that has the ability to come in here and run this offense.
Pierre again, he's across midfield. Well, they're building certainly on the field and in the locker room and in the weight room. And as David Cutcliffe has grown this program, the facilities have grown as well. At first it was the meeting rooms, the indoor practice facility, the weight room, the total rebuild for the football team. They will throw it. Nice throw. Caught there. Chris Taylor with the catch, and Taylor is down to the 22-yard line. And there you got a redshirt freshman in Taylor on the catch from the sophomore Parker Bain.
Boy, that was a terrific throw and can't catch on the slant route. And the concentration for Taylor to be able to bring that ball in and avoid being tackled and get off field looked pretty good.
Corey Redwine is down for the second time. Remember, Tulane lost Sean Wilson to an apparent knee injury. He has not returned. Redwine took over for him, and this is the second time he's been slow to get up. Curtis Johnson out to 10 to Redwine. Building on the field, and actually building the field. Wallace Wade Stadium undergoing an enormous makeover. And from a stadium that had a track around it and not a whole lot of things to brag about, all of a sudden, Adam Archuleta, in the first phase this year, they took out the track, lowered the field, added seats, giant press box, suites going in, and all of a sudden it looks like a really nice football stadium. Duke keeping it on the ground. Zach Bowden, the junior out of Atlanta, with the carry. Three minutes left in this one. A reminder, we're headed to Hawaii. Well, not Adam and I and Cassie.
That would be impressive.
No. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell waiting in Hawaii for Colorado and Hawaii to finish off this night of college football on CBS Sports Network. And Bowden not only has the first down, he's down to the 4. It's a 10-yard pickup. And the clock continues to roll.
Well, it started out promising, I think, for Tulane and Curtis Johnson, and they did some good things. I think defensively they hung in there and gave their offense an opportunity to do some stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it was their inability to convert on those critical downs and to convert on those third downs and to pass those things on in points. We already talked about maybe the special teams, how much it hurt them in this game. But I think when they go back and look at this tape, they're going to see that offensively they had some opportunities to take a look at some matchups, that if they maybe would have went to some other receivers or got some other players involved, they might have had a little bit of better chance of success.
Zach Bowden is carrying the mail, so to speak, for Duke on this drive. 2nd and goal. And Bowden knifing and spinning, and I don't know that he's in. The offensive linemen say so, and the officials agree. Touchdown, Duke. That's a solid drive from the second unit of the Duke Blue Devils.
Very workmanlike. Highlighted by a really nice throw and catch from Parker Bain to Chris Taylor on that slant route. And the rest of the way just leaning on that offensive line in your running game, trying to overpower that Tulane defense.
Kick is up and good. And Duke has dominated Tulane here tonight, 37-7.
I thought maybe in that third quarter they took the foot off the gas a little bit prematurely and certainly weren't as crisp as they were in that first half. So I think they're going to take a look at that third quarter and see what they could have done differently. Maybe had a chance to be a little bit more aggressive, but it was the play of their special teams that really gave them that spark, that really broke this game wide open.
Bowden with a touchdown, and it's right back out for kick coverage. And so the Blue Devils, in their last 21 regular season games, will be 18-3. And that doesn't include, obviously, bowl games or the ACC championship game that they played in 2 years ago. On the return, Sherman Beatty. In Hawaii. What a start for FIU, taking down Central Florida. An upset in Orlando, a thrilling finish there. Duke dominant here in New Orleans, so it's on to Hawaii. This Saturday, you've got a game on Saturday.
I do.
UNLV in Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois.
Tanner Lee, and his throw short of Devin Breaux. Tanner Lee, the sophomore, still in there. He and Breaux, a long touchdown for the only score, and he goes over the middle, but overthrows Ricky Preston, freshman wide receiver, Butte, Louisiana.
Missed opportunities, but you can see the talent, you can see the potential that Tanner Lee has to play quarterback. Now they just have to help him a little bit. The guys around him have to start to step up. The receivers have to be better in their routes. Their running backs take the pressure off of them in that run game.
Flag goes down, and so does Lee. Brandon Boyce, whom big things are expected of. The freshman out of Fort Lauderdale.
Holding 68 offense. Penalty is declined.
And Tulane will punt it away. Duke Blue Devils are going to walk out of here with a well-earned win to start their season. 37-7 lead. And we talked about the Blue Devils are going to get a chance to see what the new Wallace Wade Stadium looks like a lot early in the season.
A great way to start their season. Now it sets you up for kind of a nasty November, but hopefully they're going to get a lot of experience for Thomas Sirk and some of the younger skill position players. We didn't get a chance to talk about it too much tonight, but the offensive line that has been so good over the last couple years, breaking in a couple new pieces up front.
Fair catch called for and made by Ryan Smith, who's had a nice night back there fielding punts. Duke's schedule, home games, a bunch of them coming up. The Northwestern game on the 19th. Georgia Tech comes calling, number 16 in the country. Boston College on the 3rd, and then at Army. And that game is right here on CBS Sports Network. And then, as you pointed out, a lot of road games in conference. at Virginia Tech, at North Carolina, at Virginia, at Wake Forest, with home games against Miami and Pittsburgh from that point forward. Duke takes a knee. Adam Archuleta, your first look at the Duke Blue Devils in 2015. What'd you think?
I thought it was a good start. There were some great things that showed a lot of promise. I think Thomas Sirk came in and did what he was supposed to do. Sean Wilson looked exciting. You got to like what TJ Rahming did tonight, being kind of a guy that can be a big playmaker. Special teams was exceptional. But there's also some things that you can build off of. I think, getting a little bit more accurate down the field. They're going to have a lot of things that they're going to want to improve, but it never hurts to open up on the road and getting a win.
And for Curtis Johnson and Tulane, they will have to regroup. Impressive tonight. Duke wins it. For Adam Archuleta, Cassie Gallo, our entire crew, I'm Rich Schwartz. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Let's head to New York, our CBS Sports Network studios, and